here's the new exercise I have, which is to think about something that you do or have done and just spontaneously fill in the blank on this one. I make no apology for blank. I make no apology for blank. Like, where would you go with that? Like, what first comes to your mind? I make no apology for thinking that it's perfectly okay for somebody to try to save their cat over a human being. Or I make no apology for taking every single day of vacation I have. I make no apology for being estranged from my parents. I'm just making that one up. I don't happen to be estranged from my parents, although there have been moments when I'm sure all of us have considered being estranged from our parents at one time or other, because you are in this incredibly tight relationship with your parents with lots of highs and lots of lows. And so, but what you would first answer, it's a little bit like that exercise that I've had two other exercises that we've talked about on this podcast. One being, I have to. And what comes to your mind says a lot about your values. And also, I don't know what happiness is, but I know I'm never sad when I blank. And I think this is in the same category. What comes to your mind the first one or two times can be quite revealing about your values. Let's test it out on my crack team who's here with me today. Sorry, guys, you got your microphone over there. Let's try it. I'm going to do some, I am going to try it on you guys. And then I'm going to analyze what your values might be from it. All right. Anybody want to go?
I make no apologies for spending as much of my life working as I do.
Yeah. I make no apologies for working as much as I do, right? I mean, it is clear, because I know Hallie, who's getting married in September, by the way, knowing Hallie, that work is a gigantic priority for her, which I heartily endorse, as she works with me, and also work is a huge priority of mine, huge value of mine, is work. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and she's about to go on a 10-day vacation, doing something just delicious sounding in Europe. And I thought to myself, that in concept to me is really great and something I should be doing. I on day 3, I'd be flying home to work. It's my value. It's my personality, but it's also what animates me. Okay, so you make no apology for how much you work. Isn't it lucky that you're getting married to somebody who also makes no apology for how much he works? I would say definitely, if that's a value of yours, find somebody who has that same value. Otherwise, trouble. Okay, Fee, anybody? Elisa, I make no apology for?
I make no apology for living across the country from my family.
This is such a revealing statement because it's about independence, it's about agency, it's about chasing your own dreams, and it's about where family falls in the list of your current priorities, right? And it's like you make no apology for it. I'm doing it because, like, why are you doing it, Elisa? Because the work here at Team Becoming You is just so fascinating.
Exactly. Becoming You is only in New York.
Yeah, that's right. Could only be here in New York. All right. So, I mean, I think just try this out. I'm actually going to crowdsource it. I'll do a reel about it and see which ones I get. But I think it's a really interesting thing to actually even just sit with people who are in your family ecosystem or who you work with and compare notes. I look forward to doing this with my students because I bet I'm going to get some really different answer ones. I have one that I thought about this weekend because I was really ruminating on this. On Sunday, I went to church, and going to church in this day and age in the Northeast is a kind of countercultural thing. I mean, when I lived down in Palm Beach, everybody went to church on Sunday. When I was growing up, everybody did also. But as time goes on, fewer and fewer people do go to church. I still do, and it's a really important part of my life. And I thought to myself, and I get questioned about it all the time, and there's even members of my family who think it's a little wacky. I'm definitely an outlier in my own family in this way. But I thought to myself, I have no apologies about going to church, even though, and I remember I mentioned going to church to somebody the other day, and they mentioned the Crusades to me as a reason why I should not be going to church. And I said, okay, well, like that's actually not what my church was not involved in the Crusades. So here I am, though, actually being asked to apologize for going to church. I make no apologies for it. Again, countercultural, not for everybody. I don't obviously. You can do whatever you want. I don't hold it against people, or just as I hope it's not held against me. But I make no apology for that. So there's one of mine. And actually, just to finish this thought, it speaks to one of my actual values, which is around my faith. So I love this as a little exercise, and I can't wait to roll it out to my classes. And I just want to be clear that this really speaks to something that you do or have done in the past that you've been challenged on. And you're stating, I make no apology for, because it was so aligned with my values. Okay. And that's what I'm seeking with this. And you may feel like, I make no apology for anything about my life. But there have been times in your life where people have questioned things about what you do, or you feel like that it is not the norm. And that's what we're sort of going for. And this may not be an exercise that works for you, but there may be people who would have 5 answers to this, I make no apology for.